We are back live coming at you with another Johnnie Torch live program. What do you like better? Program, broadcast, show? I don't know. I've used all of them so far. I usually use broadcast. I don't know why. I think because I feel like a 1930s announcer. So broadcast kind of fits the bill. How are you? Welcome in. We have Torch News Roundup number 96 today. 96 big editions. And we're at Johnnie Torch Live number 98. Number 98 edition. As I said before, I've got the 100th big live roundup coming up. Any advice you have, any suggestions, any way we could celebrate this momentous occasion, let me know. Let me know what you want to see, hear, discuss. Leave it in the chat room. Leave it in the comments below. Let's blow the heck out of that big 100th episode. We got two 100 episodes coming up, right? We got the News Roundup is at 96 right now, and we got the live broadcasts have been up to 98. So we're probably celebrating two 100s. Maybe we'll do something special for one, and then do something special for the other. I don't know. You got to let me know what you want to see. Here we are, seated high above the metropolis below in stately Torch Tower, overlooking the fair metropolis. We will bring you all the news there is in the world of pop culture. The superhero genre is sort of my forte. We'll dip into some other things from time to time. Sometimes music, sometimes, sci-fi. So if you're new to the show, stick around, stay tuned. Look at some of our past episodes for any indication on where we're going. And as usual, I got the chat room open in case anybody wants to show up and say hi. Before we get started, I want to thank everybody for making the last episode of Johnnie Torch Live one of the most successful episodes I've done in the past 10 years. Oh, no, 10 years. 10 episodes, excuse me. But it was the She-Ra reboot episode. So when we talk about the She-Ra episode, it became very popular, getting, well, I don't want to say how many views. Let's put it this way. If I get over 20 views, I'm happy. Any live roundup that gets over 20 views makes me very happy. Okay, so thank you for that. Just want to give credit where it's due. And hopefully some of you guys came back to watch this new roundup. All right, as you know, before we return to the news, we've got to get the other order of business out of the way, which is the poll of the week question. We try to get these up every week. Sometimes I go for long stretches without thinking of anything, but since the topic at hand today will be the Birds of Prey movie, and last week we did a casting poll for Batgirl, which Emma Stone unsurprisingly won. Karen Gillian, my choice, came in second. Today we're going to do a poll for the Birds of Prey film, who should play Black Canary, since apparently Black Canary is going to star in the film, along with the lovely Margot Robbie. The choices that I have nominated are Blake Lively, Catherine Winnick, Yvonne Strahovski, and Natalie Dormer. So far, 53 votes have been cast, which is a pretty good run, decent run. I'd like to see some more. I think the most votes I've ever gotten was maybe 80-something. No, I think the very most votes I got was probably over 100. That was about the Spider-Man topic. Remember we did that Spider-Man poll a while back? What do you most associate with Spider-Man? That was a pretty cool topic because I got a lot of votes on that. Got like 109, I think. Okay, so with 53 votes and 5 days remaining, so you got plenty of time to let your voice be heard, let your vote be cast. Go to my Twitter page and the link in the description below. You can find the poll there currently. In last place, we have Yvonne Strahovski, which is personally my favorite of these choices because I feel bad she never really got a breakout role in the MCU. We've even got Zach Levy is now, well, I was going to say Captain Marvel, but he's Shazam, as he's now been rechristened. And her name was bandied about for Captain Marvel for the longest time. Of course, Brie Larson. You wave an Oscar around, and people are going to notice. So she got the gig. But I would love to see Yvonne get some kind of superhero role. And I think Black Canary is probably the most up her alley, I would say, without reservation. In third place, we have, with 17% of the votes, Natalie Dormer. Natalie Dormer also is just, a matter of time before she gets a superhero role. I kind of see her, somebody suggested her as Poison Ivy, and I kind of see her more as Poison Ivy than as Black Canary, so that's probably why she's not as high on my list, but she definitely makes the list. Number 2, in a fairly close second place, we have Blake Lively with 32% of the vote, Mrs. Ryan Reynolds. Of course, she played opposite him. I think that's how the two met in Green Lantern, where she was Carol Ferris, the supposedly to be Star Sapphire. But she could still play a pretty, mean Black Canary if need be. But in first place, with 36% of the vote, holding a commanding but still oversurmountable lead from Blake Lively, we have Catherine Winnick, who has 36% of the vote from, I believe the show is Vikings. And I've heard of the show and I've seen some images of her, and she does look very much like you'd see a Black Canary actress look, but I don't really know anything about her acting. So that's the only thing that kind of, the other actresses I've actually seen, I have yet to see actually Catherine Winnick in action. So I really have no opinion on that, but she does have the look. So that's, the visual's half the thing. Once you get the visual, that's half the battle. You can see some pictures of these lovelies. As I said, if you go to my Twitter page in the link in the description below and find the poll there, cast your vote, and let me know what you think about Black Canary and who should play her in the DCEU. All right, now, with that business out of the way, let us look into our first news story. This one, I just got this memo handed to me right now, so it's not in the description or anything, but let's take a look at this. I just was passed this memo, this brief, which delineates the release of Solo, a Star Wars story, on DVD and Blu-ray. So if you're just chomping at the bit to see Solo again, and I know many of you are, you're going to want to sit here and listen to this. This is everything that's going to be on the Blu-ray. The digital HD will be available September 14th. Then September 25th is the release of the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, DVD, and on demand. So circle that date on your calendar, folks. Let's see. The special features include an in-depth roundtable discussion on the making of the film, behind-the-scenes featurettes, plus fans will also get to enjoy 8, that's right, count them, 8 never-before-seen deleted scenes, including an extended version of the first meeting between Han and Chewie. Then we get some detail here about what these featurettes are. Let's see. Solo, the director and cast roundtable. Sit down with director Ron Howard and the stars for an intimate and entertaining discussion of the film's making. Team Chewie, see what it takes to bring your favorite Wookiee to life in this lighthearted look behind the scenes. It's probably going to be like a spoof or something. Kasdan on Kasdan. Iconic Star Wars screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan and son Jonathan share what it was like to write the movie script together. Remaking the Millennium Falcon, track the transformation of the most famous ship in the galaxy from Lando Swank and impeccable pride and joy to Han's stripped-down hot rod freighter with special modifications. Escape from Corellia. Get behind the wheel for the making of this high-octane chase through the streets of Corellia. The train heist. Explore the challenges and thrills of creating this action-packed sequence, including its remote location and spectacular effects. Becoming a Droid, L337. Meet the newest droid and the talented actor who helps bring her to life. Oh, I'm sure that's going to be a favorite. Scoundrels, Droids, Creatures, and Cards. Welcome to Fort Yipso. Take an in-depth tour of the rough and tumble bar with strangers mix and gamblers risk, all in the legendary card game Sabak, or Sabak, I think is how Donald Glover pronounced it. I think, wasn't that sort of like a joke because, Han Solo says something like Sabak, which is the way I was pronouncing it all my life until he says now it's actually called Sabak. I don't know. Oh, they just give you so much for your money. In the Maelstrom, into the Maelstrom, the Kessel Run. Join Han and Chewie at the controls of the Millennium Falcon to see how this legendary moment in Star Wars history unfolds. The Millennium Falcon from Page to Park, and an exclusive bonus feature available as a digital code with the Target release. It's a Target exclusive. You can get a look at the history of the most famous ship in the galaxy, its origin and development, and how it will translate in one of the most anticipated expansions in Disneyland's history. So they're going to make Millennium Falcon a park. That's interesting. All right, and finally here, we got the names of the deleted scenes, 8 deleted scenes. Let's see. Proxima's Den. Yeah, that might be interesting. I kind of was interested in, like, that surrounding area that Han grew up in. That kind of would be interesting, I think. Carillion Foot Chase. I got no idea what that's all about. Han Solo Imperial Cadet. Now that is something that's probably more interesting. You kind of want to see a little more of what Han was like in the Imperial, what do they call it when you're a cadet? The Academy, I guess? I don't know. The Battle of Mimban Extended. Han versus Chewie Extended. I could do without that. Snowball Fight. I got no idea what that is. I got nothing. Meet Drayden Extended. And that might be interesting. I don't know. And Coaxium Double Cross. I guess there's some more to that ending of the film, which I guess was pretty much spoiled for you if you didn't see it yet. And I don't know if that means anything to you, though. But so let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you excited for this Han Solo release on DVD and Blu-ray? Are you just chomping at the bit to see these extras? Sometimes I spring for the extras, sometimes I don't. Depending on how much they're going to try to milk this for, I might spring for the extras on this, because truth be told, I enjoyed the film. I really liked the film. There's a propensity to always compare every Star Wars film to Empire and this and that. I mean, this ain't up there at that level. I mean, we all have to admit nothing's going to be up to the level of the original trilogy. But this was a fun romp. This was a semi-nostalgic look back at the original trilogy. I mean, who didn't as a kid want to know how did Han and Chewie meet? How did Han and Lando meet? How did Han win the Falcon and stuff like that? I mean, I kind of enjoyed it on that level. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I'll probably be picking it up. We'll see. We'll see just exactly. All right. Let's take a look now at our next news item of the day. And I have to stop organizing my notes backwards. I really do. I put the most important notes at the top, so I got to scroll backwards instead of from the top down, which is the craziest way of doing things. First off, we've got some casting news here. Casting news, which just broke today. As a matter of fact, Sam Witwer has been cast in the CW's Supergirl Season 4. He'll be playing Agent Liberty as a series regular. Now this is interesting because I've never heard of this character, Agent Liberty. And of course, Sam Witwer is familiar to fans as Doomsday in Smallville. And also he played the voice of several characters, I believe, in Rebels and so forth. So a very famous actor. I don't know much about Agent Liberty, so let me read on. CW describes Agent Liberty as the founder and figurehead of the Children of Liberty, a hate group that supports a first world order. Ruthless and terrifying, the scariest thing about Agent Liberty might be just how easily he can convince you that he's in the right. He's a brilliant orator in the guise of a family man. Oh boy, does that sound exciting. So basically what this says to me is we're going to have some more heavy-handed swipes at Trump, and oh boy, I can't wait for this. Are you as excited as I am about this, about the prospect of more moralizing and preaching and sanctimonious gobbledygook about hate groups? And that's the problem I've always had with Supergirl, is they just lay it on way too thick. I mean, it isn't only the feminist agenda, because a lot of people are, at least they say they're turned off because of the feminist agenda. But honestly, the problem is it's always too heavy-handed. I mean, I just want to see Supergirl punch a big robot. I mean, that's what I've always said. That's what made me happy. You want to make me happy, CW? Just create this big robot and make Supergirl punch it. We got to start a hashtag. How's about that? Punch a robot Supergirl. How does that sound? To me, that'll make me happy. That's all I'm asking for out of Supergirl. I'm not asking for politics. I'm not asking for SJW nonsense. I'm not asking for garbage that'll change the world. Just, get a cat out of a tree once in a while. I mean, honestly, the first season, as feminist laden as that was with Cat Grant, I think the first season is still the best because you actually did have Supergirl trying to be an inspiration the way Superman is supposed to be. And she, was, talking to kids and doing stuff like that. Where do we see Supergirl doing that stuff anymore? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You let me know what you think in the comments below. But I think we're going to have another rough go with Supergirl this season because I don't know. The past two seasons weren't that great. I mean, last season was just okay. It was like so, kind of subpar. The second season was almost as bad, although I think I do prefer the second season because they had Superman and they kind of tried to. I don't know. Well, we had the Maggie Sawyer stuff. That's what really brought it down. Oh, we're going to talk about that in a few moments. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below about Agent Liberty joining cast of Supergirl. All right, so next up, we've got more casting news here for Spider-Man not Homecoming, excuse me. Spider-Man Far From Home. And let's see, German-Turkish actor Newman Aker, I believe is how you pronounce it, again, I'm not sure, has joined the cast of Spider-Man Far From Home as a character named Dimitri. Now, this is pretty curious. It seems that they're not so subtly building up to the Sinister Six. A lot of people are suggesting this actor is going to portray the Chameleon. But come on, take a look at him. Get a look at that kisser. You can't tell me he won't make a fantastic Kraven the Hunter. It says he's 43 years of age, which I think that's probably young enough to pass for Kraven. I mean, he's gonna have to put a little Grecian formula maybe in that beard or so. But yeah, that would be awesome if he could play Kraven. He'd probably have to bulk up some more too, but I mean, he does look pitch perfect as Kraven. So I am hoping it's going to be Kraven the Hunter he's playing. But some sources are saying maybe the Chameleon. Now the problem is they're saying he's going to be playing a character named Dimitri. I can't remember what the Chameleon's name is in the comics, his real name. I know, of course, that Kraven the Hunter is Sergei Kravenov. And I guess he could play a Russian aristocrat. This guy, it says he's German, Turkish. So, I'll buy him as a Russian aristocrat. Who knows? Spider-Man Far From Home is to be released July 5th, 2019. Wow, so we've only got a year to go with this. That's interesting. It kind of seems pretty quick. Of course, we kind of have the word of Jake Gyllenhaal playing Mysterio. We kind of have an inkling that Michael Keaton will be back as the Vulture. We kind of have an inkling that Scorpion will be in it because he was, cameoed in the film. I would like to see, really, to be totally honest with you, I'd like to see all these villains get their own solo, role in these films instead of like just cramming them all in one. Apparently, because Jake Gyllenhaal has the name, he's going to be the primary antagonist in this next film. But I think chances are we're going to see probably the third film in the cycle here, the third Spider-Man film from the MCU, will probably be a Sinister Six film where we'll get all these guys together. The question is, how are they going to contrive that? Because you got a lot of superhero fans now that are whiny. Why isn't Captain America helping Iron Man and Iron Man 3? And why isn't Daredevil there in Avengers Age of Ultron? And I mean, the usual whining. It's like, when you read an issue of Spider-Man, he was fighting the Sinister Six in the comics. You didn't say, why doesn't he have the Fantastic Four with him? And why doesn't he have the Avengers with him? And why doesn't he have the X-Men with him? It was basically because it's Spider-Man's book. Look at the title. Look at the cover of the book. Tell me what it says. Does it say Spider-Man with Fantastic Four, Aquaman, Shazam, He-Man, Captain Kirk? No, it's Spider-Man. That's it. Now, if they want to put a guest star in, they'll let you know on the cover. But if you see the cover and it says Spider-Man, you're not supposed to expect other characters coming in and helping him all the time. It just doesn't work that way. Okay, so let me know what you think in the comments below about Dimitri. Who do you think he's playing? Is it Kraven the Hunter like I think, or is it possibly Chameleon? It would probably help if I knew who Chameleon's secret identity is. But, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, is Zendaya playing Mary Jane? It feels like the same thing here. They're doing a misdirect. Maybe Dimitri is actually some kind of code name for Kraven, because we were told that Zendaya will be playing Michelle. Zendaya will be playing Michelle. And she's not playing Mary Jane. And that's true, but they still called her MJ. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I don't know. All right, so all right, let's check this out. We got the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. A little news here. It's not really a casting report, but this is sort of the season 6 itinerary. Oh, they look so happy there. Hopefully we can get them all back. I don't know. We're going to have problems with getting Phil Coulson back among the roster at S.H.I.E.L.D. All right, let's see here. The season 5 finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm not going to read the whole thing here. From the hashtag show, we have word that 5 new additions will either aid our agents or cause them trouble. Okay. The first is a male character in his 30s referred to as Jaco, who is described as a silent mercenary, intelligent and physically strong. His intelligence is said to be apparent when he speaks. Jaco will be joined by another mercenary called Pax. Aside from being the youngest of the two, Pax will have a humorous streak similar to Lance Hunter. Why don't they just get back Lance Hunter? I guess because they're a double act now, him and a Mockingbird. Although, of course, we did see him last season without Mockingbird. Mercenaries won't be the only danger the S.H.I.E.L.D. team will be facing, for a new female character named Butterfly will be as lethal as she is unpredictable and aloof. Now watch out for those aloof ones, I'm telling you. Along with this 20-something-year-old character, the show will also be adding an older genius and teacher currently called Professor L. Is he related to Professor X? That's the only thing I'm concerned about, because LX, maybe it's XL, Professor XL, and then you can have Professor XXL. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Despite having a positive view of humanity, the professor is disgruntled, bitter, and a mess of a person. Well, who isn't nowadays? As expected, the team will also gain some new allies. One new friend to our heroes is Agent Damon, a handsome, likable, cool, and funny member of S.H.I.E.L.D. Though these are just character breakdowns, there's a good chance we'll hear some casting announcements soon, as the 13-episode Season 6 is expected to begin production next week. Wow. They don't waste no time, right? That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes when you're in the business. All right, so as I pause for a sip of the old H2O, let me know what you think in the comments here. How does that sound to you? What is the plan being laid here? The best laid plans for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know. Okay, next up we have, as promised, I thought this was pretty interesting. We have the rundown of Agent Carter Season 3, What Might Have Been. From Comic Book News Network, comicbooknews.net is this? I don't know. I should take better care in taking these notes and where I got them from to give credit where due. Den of Geek. All right, Den of Geek had the story. Jose Molina, who, again, because my notes are not really complete, I don't know. I think he was the producer. I'm not sure. But anyway, they had an interview with him, and he spilled the porridge on what would have happened in Season 3 of Agent Carter. Of course, I liked the show. I actually liked the second season better than the first. So I was really looking forward to it. They left us on a cliffhanger, which I guess now will never be resolved, which is sad because they keep throwing out a glimmer of hope every now and again, saying, well, maybe we'll do like a Netflix movie or something like that. But nothing has really come of it so far, at least. All right, so here we go. Jose Molina says, if memory serves, the initial thrust was going to come from the investigation into the assassination attempt on Jack Thompson. Remember, because Jack was killed at the end of the well, it says an assassination attempt. Yeah, let's take a look at that sentence. Let's look into that sentence a little bit. The investigation on the assassination attempt on Jack Thompson. So Jack probably wasn't going to die. Jack was going to survive that. He got shot like point blank, but apparently he was to survive. The way he phrased it, anyway. Molina explained that the show would have introduced someone close to Peggy. We were hoping, assuming we could afford it, that the show would then lead us to London. Yeah, because they went from New York to Hollywood in the second season. So I guess they wanted to keep like globe-trotting with Peggy. We were hoping the story would lead us to London, where we could learn that Peggy's late brother Michael was not only alive and kicking, but involved in some very nefarious, super villainous shenanigans. Ooh, that sounds pretty intense, doesn't it? That sounds pretty intense. Michael was a supervillain, and he's the one that inspired Peggy to become an SS agent, right? An SSI. What was she? It's a scientific, whatever. But yeah, if I remember the show, he's the one that inspired her, and he was, what happened? Missing in action or something? He got shot down in a plane, I think, something like that, and that inspired her to join the British intelligence. I don't remember what it was called, but so Michael would have been a supervillain. I wonder what that's all about. Very nefarious, supervillainous shenanigans. All right, so okay, they also asked if Agent Carter would in fact be brought back on Netflix or somewhere else. And Jose said, it would be lovely to think that Netflix, home to so many awesome Marvel shows, would pick it up, but their shows all share a common universe and timeline that Carter doesn't share. Creatively, these shows tend to be very dark, and Agent Carter just doesn't have dark and brooding in its DNA, which I was very thankful for. Because to be honest with you, I don't like the dark and brooding stuff on Netflix. I really don't. But that's the reason why they get away with being on Netflix, because they could, pump up the violence and, be rated R, essentially, which doesn't really do anything for me. But, I guess some people like it. So let me know what you think. How do you think this would have shaped up for a season 3 of Agent Carter? Sorry we don't have it now? I certainly am. I would have liked to see this. I think this would have been fun. See Agent Carter having a more personal antagonist this time. And we still, of course, had Dottie, whatever, I don't remember if she had a last name. The lovely Bridget Regan, who I would love to see her come back again as sort of the frenemy that she was to Peggy. And of course, Mr. Jarvis and all that. We could have got back Howard Stark. It was great to see all these, familiar faces, network television where you didn't have to wait 3 years for a movie or something. That was kind of the appeal of it, I think, as well. But yeah, this is a picture of Peggy just walking out the door. She's waving goodbye, probably never to be seen again. There's only so many times you can age up Haley Atwell, and just stick her in some kind of flashback. I mean, come on, enough already. You don't want to see, an attractive girl having to be continually forced to put age makeup on. And yeah, so I think that we're probably done with Peggy Carter. I think after her death in Civil War, I don't think they're going to go back to the well too often. Maybe they'll just have a, what's it called? Like a cameo, but less than a cameo, sort of like just a reference, sort of like a picture on the wall type thing. It's not really a cameo, but something like that. All right, so let me know what you think about Agent Carter what might have been season 3 if we got it. Okay. All right, let's take a look now at the Batwoman news that we got here. Oh, Batwoman news. Let's travel to the CW, land of the hot lesbians, where where Greg Berlanti is trying desperately to make the Arrowverse under 25% heterosexual. That is the joke that I used on Twitter, and at least people took the satire in stride, I suppose. I mean, I expect to get a little kickback from that, but thankfully, people are taking the comedy in stride. All right, the CW has put in development, and look, before I don't want to have to tune my own horn. I don't want to have to be the one to say I told you so. I don't want to have to be the one to say I predicted this 3 years ago, which I did. Or was it 2.5 years ago to be technical? All right. But in one of my previous Torch News roundups, I predicted that Alex from Supergirl would become Batwoman, excuse me. Now, that didn't come to pass. I fully understand it. But I fully expected that Batwoman would show up in the Arrowverse long before Batman or Nightwing or any other character from the Bat legacy. And there is just one reason why, and that's because Batwoman is a lesbian. And the Arrowverse is nothing if not replete with LGBTQ plus characters. I think basically it comes down to the fact that Bertolani is gay, of course, and he's kind of using this as his playground to sort of introduce as many LGBTQK X plus characters into this genre. Now it's I've gone over this before, and it's again I don't really want to bring out the soapbox and regale you with statistics and stuff, but you want to be honest. You face the facts, which is the LGBTQ population of America is below 4%. So trying to put an LGBTQ character or multiple characters, which is in most cases, on each and every one of these shows is overkill. And it is truly feeling like overkill now at this point. I don't know how much else to express it other than to say they really should back down on this a little bit. I mean, as I said, there's nothing wrong with having a gay character. There's nothing wrong with having multiple gay characters, so long as that is not the entire focus of the character. Now, they introduced the Ray. I thought maybe they would bring the Ray back. Apparently, he wasn't that popular. Personally, I think it's because they think that it's easier to sell a lesbian on television than it is to sell a gay couple. I don't know, I mean, we have gay couples in these shows, Curtis, and we had Captain Cold and the Ray. But, you're going to have an ongoing series. I think they think it's easier to sell an attractive woman as a lesbian. We have Alex, attractive woman as a lesbian. We have Sarah Lance, who was supposed to be bisexual, but of course, they're just going to keep setting her up with women because that's what we do here on television. So the Batwoman TV show was a given. That was obvious. I was, very sure that was going to be our introduction to the Batman mythos in the Arrowverse, because Batwoman is the most removed of the Bat family. Nightwing was Robin. Nightwing's Dick Grayson. Barbara Gordon, of course, Batgirl. All of them are closely knit together around Batman. I don't know the backstory of Batwoman very well, but I know that she's not a close confidant of Batman. So let's take a look at what the press release here says. The CW has put in development a Batwoman series for 2019 consideration. Oh, they'll do it. They'll do it. And I think it might not be a bad thing. Let me explain this. Now, it might seem like overkill or something with the LGBTQ characters, but if they could focus mostly, and I said this before, I think I said this during the Crisis on Earth X video, instead of continually ham-fisting the LGBTQ characters in all the shows, the Flash isn't quite as LGBTQ heavy, but if they would just focus on one show where we see an LGBTQ character and we see them in their element and we see them in their trials and tribulations, that would be good, because then the concept will live or die on its own. If people want to watch it, they'll watch it. If people don't want to watch it, they won't watch it. You won't be struggling to try to explain to your kids the birds and the bees long before they're ready to understand the birds and the bees. And that's kind of what you should do in a situation like this. But of course, they're never going to back down now on what they'd already done. Now, had they done that, I would be behind it a lot more. But this is more just them spreading territory. This is just them breaking the fence open and letting even more, characters in to just, as I said, try to get the demographic appeased, which is something that I was always totally against. Whether it's the LGBTQ community or whether it's the illicity shippers, you don't pander to the fans. I don't want to say like you're not pandering to the fans. You've got to give the fans what they want to an extent, but you don't pander to them. You don't patronize them. You don't just continually kiss up to them in order to try to both make yourself feel better and progressive and this and that, and to, it's not really a case of ratings either, because the ratings aren't doing that well. Arrow had its lowest ratings in many a year, and Supergirl isn't doing well. None of them really are. So to say that this pandering is helping them in the long term, I don't see that either. All right, Batwoman series hails from former Vampire Diaries executive producer Carolyn Dries and architect of the CW Arrowverse, Greg Bertolani. All right, Batwoman, based on the DC characters, armed with a passion for social justice. Oh boy, there it is, right there. That's just what everybody wants to see, right? Because if Supergirl wasn't enough for you with the social justice, we're going to give you a double down on it with Batwoman. She has a flair for speaking her mind. Kate Kane soars into the streets of Gotham as Batwoman, an out lesbian and highly trained street fighter, primed to snuff out the failing city's criminal resurgence. So this is going to take place in Gotham. Now, I don't know if this means it's going to take place in Gotham on Supergirl's world or the Arrowverse, because, the Arrow Flash continuity, because there was some speculation that, Gotham exists in both Earths, because Supergirl's made comments about Gotham, and so has Arrow. All right, let's see. Don't call her a hero yet. In a city desperate for a savior, Kate must overcome her own demons before embracing the call to be Gotham's symbol of hope. Now, the problem with that is where is Batman? It seems like they're making her the female Batman, and they're going to run into the same problem they had with Supergirl, which is people are going to be clamoring, where's Batman? And, they could always throw the token, I don't know, maybe Barbara Gordon cameo, or I don't know what they would do, but people are going to want to know where Batman is if she's supposedly single-handedly handling the crime of Gotham, right? Gotham is synonymous with Batman. See, you could do Supergirl in National City because Superman is not in National City. He's across the country. So even though he can come in the blink of an eye, you still have the explanation. I mean, you're not going to have the explanation of where's Batman if Batwoman's in Gotham. Batman's in Gotham too. Okay. Now, let's see. Following on from the news that Batwoman will be getting her own series, we have new details on the character, what the CW is looking for in an actress to play her, and when we can expect to see her debut. TV Line has heard that an out lesbian actress of open ethnicity, age 25 to 29, is being sought for the role, though CW or Warner Brothers has not confirmed this. Well, isn't that obvious? They want an out lesbian. Isn't that the only way you could do it now? You have to be completely embodying the character. You can't just play a lesbian. You have to be a lesbian to play a lesbian. You can't just, we had some of this brouhaha over Scarlett Johansson in that trans movie or something she was supposed to be doing, and then she had to drop out, and then the movie, pretty much fell apart. So this is the world we live in now. Whatever. The hashtag show, that hashtag show, excuse me, has come across a detailed character breakdown, which will give fans a much better idea of what to expect from the small screen take on Kate Kane. I thought it was Kathy Kane, wasn't it? Well, it was Kathy Keene, wasn't it? I don't know. All right. Kate is fully aware of how bad bleep she is, whenever she enters a room, even though she prefers to put a smile on your face. Young Miss Kane is physically and intellectually confident while being a woman who is proud to be openly gay. However, Kate still deals with her inner demons that go back to her history with her dad. Their relationship is quite complicated as she struggles to get praise from him. She once aspired to have a successful military career, but those dreams sadly came to an end as she was kicked out of West Point once she came out of the closet. But that didn't stop her from becoming the crime-fighting vigilante known as Batwoman. All right, so this sounds a little familiar. I thought Don't Ask, Don't Tell was way back in the Clinton administration. What is this? She got kicked out of West Point. Again, that sounds like it's going to be some heavy-handed stuff that is just going to turn most people off. But anyway, I seen Batman Bad Blood, and I actually liked that film pretty much. Out of the DC direct-to-video, if that's what we're calling them, movies, that one was pretty good. I thought that one was pretty good, and I knew something about the character from that. We were talking about Birds of Prey earlier. Who should play Birds of Prey? Yvonne Strahovski actually did the voice of Batwoman in that movie, so that would be interesting if they cast her, but I don't know. So, I mean, I know something about her with the father not being able to impress him or something. I mean, I know something about the character from that. Uh, Okay, striking fear into the criminals she fights, Kate is someone who must also fight the complications of living a double life, both as a citizen and hero of Gotham. While she has her shield up, I think I missed a period or something. Both as a citizen and hero of Gotham, period. While she has her shield up when fighting criminals, she lets herself be vulnerable when dating women. That sounds like what they're doing with Anissa in Black Lightning. So, I mean, do they really need to do that twice? Do we need to see that on two shows? No. Okay, the site also revealed that Kane will appear in the 9th episodes of Supergirl, Arrow, and The Flash during the big crossover event. It's the event of the season. For unknown reasons, Legends of Tomorrow is being excluded from this year's crossover, which is set to air in December. Yeah, I heard about this too. Legends of Tomorrow is not going to be part of the crossover, and I guess the real reason is because they're going to focus on Batwoman, and they're not really going to have room to put all those characters in again. It was pretty ambitious last season when they brought in literally every character that had ever been, I think, in an Arrowverse episode. And I think the ambitiousness of that is kind of, they want to back down from it. They want to back away from it. All right, but there you go. Batwoman, will it work? Will you watch it? I'm sure they're going to order it to series because they grabbed up Black Lightning when that came out, and Fox passed on it. And they thought, I think Bertolani was behind that too, right? So they just said, hey, we'll just bring it over to CW. The CW has for, I think, 2 years now been saying they absolutely positively will not put another comic book show, not another one. I'm telling the truth this time. We're not going to put another comic. Well, let's see. We've got Riverdale. We've got Black Lightning. We got Batwoman. If they can get Sugar and Spike on next, that'll be the next one. That'll be the next one. We absolutely. Batwoman's the last one. We mean it this time. We're not gonna. You understand what I'm saying? You hear the words coming out of my mouth. We're not gonna have another superhero show. Then we'll get something else. I don't know. But as long as they're successful, I guess it's all they care about. They don't care about quality or anything as much as if it's successful in the ratings, I suppose. I don't know. All right, so there you have it. This chick, I don't know. I don't have the names of these cosplayers that I put up for these unknown properties that they're doing. But if she could play a good Batwoman, I would watch that. But yeah, I should try better to get the cosplayers' names because they deserve some credit for the work they do here. All right, so we got our final story, the final story of the night. This broke yesterday as well. I believe Grace Randolph is the one that broke the story. And again, cosplayers. We love our cosplayers here. Who am I kidding? You know, I put a cosplayer on the thumbnail, and to be honest with you, I've gotten more views that way, and that's all that means. I could use a comic book panel and get nowhere, but I use cosplayers, and I get the views. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it won't work this time. Let's see. All right, we've got the news that the Birds of Prey movie is a go, and it is going to feature Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. That's what it's going to be called. It's going to be called Birds of Prey. It is not going to be Gotham City Sirens. It is not going to be called Harley Quinn, the solo movie. It is going to be Birds of Prey. Now, if any of you are unfamiliar with the Birds of Prey, I'm not too familiar with them either, but I do know one thing. They have Black Canary, they have Huntress, and typically they have Batgirl. I know they did that thing that I hated, which was to cripple Batgirl and make Oracle the other member or something like that. But typically those are the three characters you have in Birds of Prey. Like I said, the story was broke by Grace Randolph, and she apparently has insiders that made her privy to this information. I'm only going by what I know for a fact. Now, the facts I think that we have that in this news that's been broken is that the Birds of Prey will feature Harley Quinn, Renee Montoya. See, because Randolph said that she didn't hear Montoya was going to be in it. So what I'm trying to say is I'm going by both sources here. Cassandra Cain, whom Randolph said is going to be a child in this movie. So take that as you will. I don't know. Cassandra Cain in the comics, of course, is the Asian Batgirl. She's the Batgirl that has her face completely covered, at least most of the time. I don't know if they've altered that, but when I used to see comics on the shelves, it used to have the completely enveloped mask. The Huntress on the right, and Black Canary on the left. Margot Robbie will produce the film with the help of Sue Kroll and Brian Unclis. Kathy Yan will direct this film, being the first Asian woman to direct a DC film. Also, I managed to uncover this fact that the villain will be a Batman comics villain who has never before appeared on the big screen, which kind of narrows it down quite a bit because most of his A-listers have made it to the big screen, some of his B-listers. So we're going down to the C-list now, I guess. My guess would be Black Mask. I think his name has been bandied about once in a while. I think they favored the Penguin at first for this part, but also the scuttlebutt is that the Penguin will be in the Batman solo film that may or may not have Ben Affleck in his swan song as the Caped Crusader. But I don't know. What do you think about this? Is this interesting? Is this exciting? Now, is Harley Quinn going to be part of the Birds of Prey, or is she going to be a adversary? This is what makes this concept so intriguing, because Birds of Prey basically is a hero team, and they kind of operate above the law. Well, you know, vigilantes all they do, but they're kind of like the I don't know, the dark horse of the superhero world. You know, I mean, they don't come out and sort of get the pat on the back that a Superman would, or a Supergirl or something like that. So would Harley Quinn be part of this team as a hero? I don't know. I don't necessarily see it. I mean, especially in keeping with the Suicide Squad version of her, she still was, by her own admission, a bad guy. But I think they're going to go with the bad guy with a heart of gold aspect. She's probably going to try to help them do something. If Grace Randolph is correct, and I don't really have reason to believe that she wouldn't be on this, they are going to make Cassandra Cain a child. And in her words, they're going to make her be the X-23 of the film. That the villains of the piece want Cassandra Cain for whatever reason. I don't know the character too well. I guess she was trained to be an assassin or something as a preteen or something like that. And it's going to be up to the Huntress and Black Canary and Renee Montoya to protect her. And Harley Quinn will be part of that team. Now, Renee Montoya, this is interesting because Renee Montoya, I believe, took on the mantle of the Question in the comics. We haven't even gotten the Question in TV or film yet, the original Question. So I hope they're not going to make her the Question. I doubt they will, because I think there's more of a name with Renee Montoya. I don't know that many people know who she is outside of comics, but nobody knows who the Question is outside of comics. So I don't think making her the Question really, solves anything in marketability. And also, let's see what else we have here. No, that's all for my notes. I thought I had something else here, but that's about it. So basically, what do you think here? Of course, like I said, casting is the paramount question now. I got to think of a couple of polls maybe for Huntress actresses and Montoya actresses. That'll be cool. I, of course, was fully expecting Harley Quinn to be interacting with Poison Ivy, because that's kind of the girlfriend, for lack of a better term, they partner her with in the cartoons and in the comics. Margot Robbie did say that this is going to be an R-rated film, which again concerns me very much, but according to Grace Randolph, that's probably not going to happen. That's probably not going to be the case, because they do want to make these movies moneymakers, you know what I mean? And the misconception that the R-rated movies are doing so well is only because they are few and far between. You stick too many R-rated movies out there, and I think I'm probably beating the drum for this for the 57th time, but you oversaturate the market on R-rated properties that are superhero, and you're going to kill the genre. Everybody keeps saying how they're going to kill the genre, and the genre's tapped out, and we're tired of superhero movies. We're not going to watch superhero movies anymore because we got so many of them. That is all a load of crap. That is all a lot of malarkey. The only thing that's going to kill the superhero genre is when you don't make it accessible to kids, because there's only so far you can go without involving the next generation. That is what these characters were primarily designed for, was for kids. And so you start taking them out of the equation, and you have these gritty, ruthless, bloodthirsty films that really only reflect, the sort of, the sort of fetish that you have for the superhero in some element that it's not familiar with. If I could try to make that any more clear, I don't know. But it basically, in other words, what I'm trying to say is you're going to see adult properties that look childish, because you're going to have people like this dressed up, running around, shooting and killing and so forth. And then what will happen is people won't be able to take that seriously, and they'll say, well, I can't take it seriously when there's a girl running around just like that, killing people and this and that. And then they'll start making them look more generic. And then people won't go to see them because they'll be saying, well, that don't look like Huntress. She's supposed to have her belly showing or whatever. And, and they'll start looking like, the average thing, sort of like the original Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, right? I mean, he was just a guy running around with a gun, stuff like that, where they don't really tap into the source material. All right, so again, these two cats look really cool. I'd like to see them play, and these costumes are great. I'd like to see them play in the Birds of Prey movie. Birds of Prey movie a go-go. I was this close to titling it that, but I said, nah, let's show a little restraint. Okay, so that about wraps it up once again for another edition of the Torch News Roundup. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you want to see in a Birds of Prey movie? Does it sound like according to Grace Randolph, does it sound like a great storyline to you that they're basically going to try to ape Logan, so to speak, and do the whole child in peril storyline? It might be cool, actually, because I didn't like Logan, so I'm not going to sit there and compare it to Logan, because when I watched Logan, I was like, yeah, well, okay, and I just forgot about it like a week after. If this is done better, maybe it'll resonate with me. I don't know. There is something to be said about, like, a female-led film that is going to have, like, a child as one of the MacGuffins, so to speak. That kind of does fit, although I'm sure the feminists will hate it. But yeah, I mean, again, this is another place where DC is looking to get the drop on Marvel, because DC now will have put out the female superheroine team up film long before Marvel even has it as a glimmer in its eye. So I think DC, because a lot of people are saying, well, isn't Warner Brothers dropping the ball here? What's going on with Batman? When is the Batman going to be made? Where is Man of Steel 2? But you understand, they know Batman will make them money whenever they put that out. They know Superman will make them money whenever they put them out, because it has traditionally always made them money, those two properties, going back to the 70s. What they want to do now is they want to mark their territory. They want to make their claim. They want to say, we were the first to do the solo female superhero movie, and it was a success. That's Wonder Woman. Now we want to make we want to make the team up female superhero film, and that'll be a success. They just got to be careful how they do it. If they make it rated R, it won't be a success, but it will be a success, mark my words, if they try to make it accessible to all ages. All right, so once again, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us here at Johnnie Torch Live. Another edition in the books, and we will be with you again probably Saturday, because that's usually my days of doing these shows. Oh, it's going to be so exciting. We have Comic-Con coming up, all the Comic-Con videos. Now, as I was saying at the beginning of the show, I don't know what my 100th episode is going to be. I've been saying, give me some suggestions. Maybe I'll do a commentary if anybody wants to put a commentary suggestion in the chat for me. But I might have to do a live show on all the Comic-Con news, because traditionally I get at least 2 videos out of Comic-Con. Maybe I can get more. I'm not sure. Sometimes Star Wars Celebration also stretches it out, makes it like 3 videos. But I don't think there's no Star Wars Celebration this year. But anyway, a lot of news coming out, and I will be there to cover it all. I'm going to try to see as many panels as I can on YouTube. I'm going to see if I can get the inside story about all your favorite TV shows that are coming up. Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., all of them on both sides of the comic fence. We're going to get you all the news about all the stuff coming out, especially from DC. The Aquaman trailer coming out Saturday. There has been some leaked footage of Shazam and Wonder Woman 84. I'm staying away from that until it's officially released. I don't really want to play with that until I see if there's a real trailer out. And of course, there's a lot of marketing stuff out that maybe we'll touch on later, like the Aquaman posters and different images that are coming out from both Aquaman and Shazam. So good times are approaching. Good times abound. Okay, so until next we meet, make sure you remember to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, smash everything, Hulk smash. Anything you can get your hands on. Share this link. It'll make me very happy. God love you for being here. Thank you for making my last video a success, as I said. And hopefully, we can get some more people here in the chat, get some interesting discussions going on here. It would be great. Until next we meet, this is Johnnie Torch reminding you once again, keep that flame burning brightly, you hear? And I'll be with you again real soon.